all the time, and my name is Adam. Yes, it is. And we're looking at an interesting story today coming out from MovieWeb, and it's talking about Tatiana Maslany. There she isn't. That's She-Hulk. Tatiana Maslany isn't counting on She-Hulk getting a second season. It doesn't seem likely. I am counting on She-Hulk not getting a second season because it was appalling. Just straight up appalling. Which is why I've got my special hat on today. There you go. She-Hulk, attorney at law, was a fun ride for many fans. This is not true. But Tatiana Maslany isn't sure there'll be another season coming. Why? Because this was not fun, basically. This has come from Jeremy, last name Dick. Indeed. Spoiler alert. Okay, spoiler. This story contains some spoilers for the She-Hulk, attorney at law finale. The thing about the spoiler is, if you haven't watched it now, you're not going to. You weren't interested, you're not going to now. And if you have watched it, then compensation may be owed to you for your suffering and pain. You may be entitled to a welfare call for your suffering. But if you haven't watched it now, you're not going to be honest. And my advice would be don't. Just don't. Honestly, the first episode, it took me, I think, 4 attempts to get through the first episode, and it's only half an hour long. 4 times I had to stop, and my eyes were rolling so far up into my head they nearly fell out and rolled under the desk, and oh my good God, it was the hardest thing to watch, and I kept grinding through it, and I had to go away and come back again the next day and try again, and it was awful again. I had to stop again. I was on and on and on episode after episode of it. Oh my God. Oh, it was so bad. So bad. But let's have a little look at this here person. While the first season certainly went out with a bang, no it didn't. Don't bet the farm on She-Hulk, attorney at law getting renewed for season 2. No, don't bet anything on it. In fact, bet the opposite. While some fans of the series, this is a lie, there's no fans, while some fans of the series may be wondering if there's more to come. No, there isn't. After that wild season finale that's gotten a lot of people talking. Talking about stuff. Yeah, I was talking about it. Lead star Tatiana Maslany, this isn't quite so sure a renewal will be happening. It was appalling. As told to Extra after the episode premiered, Maslany feels that the Kevin Feige-inspired robot in the She-Hulk finale suggests that there's no future for the series. Yes. Yes. I don't think so either. It was just no. I mean, I don't think so yet. Kevin in the scene seems to be very dismissive of this idea. So if we're basing this off the real Kevin, it doesn't seem likely. But he was also, I think, just trying to get rid of Jen because she was asking too many questions. I don't know. If I could be coy, not really, and have some little secret, I would do that, but I really don't. I don't know anything. It was just grindingly bad. It's difficult to explain how bad it is, how woke, endlessly woke it was in every single aspect it could possibly be. And the entitlement from the writers, the sneering, good Lord. In the episode, Maslany's Jennifer Walters breaks the fourth wall. Isn't that a Stanislavski principle from his teaching of acting as a methodology back in the 1920s? How you get to She-Hulk breaking that Stanislavski principle is beyond me. It was Jennifer breaking the fourth wall, going so far as to enter the She-Hulk, attorney at law's writer's room. There's a generous term, writer's room. You've got to be able to write to have a writer's room. It should be called scribbling incoherent psychobabble entitlement room. She demands to speak to Kevin, in quotation marks, hinting at a Kevin Feige appearance, at which point he is revealed to be a robot who wants Jennifer to revert back to her. Honestly, the plot is just ridiculous. The whole thing, the series was ridiculous. I've never been so disappointed, hostile, angry, annoyed, displeased, and generally not happy with a series in all my life. And I've watched many series, many series. Some of them terrible, but this is the worst by far. Human form as the he wants Jennifer to revert back to her human form as the CGI costs too much money. That's the whole theme of this series. It was all just done on the cheap and it looked it. While she can't answer for Feige, Maslany was directly asked if she would want to do another season of the series, and she had this to say. She said, yes, of course, I love the money. Sorry, the character. I love the character, yes, not the money. What is that? The finale took aim at the She-Hulk critics, took aim at me personally. She-Hulk : Attorney at Law has not been without its criticism. Wow, there's an understatement of the year. There is an understatement of the year right now. In other news, water is wet, and 2 + 2 = 4. And when the sun goes away, it's dark. She-Hulk: Attorney at Law has not been without its criticism, because it was appalling. It was appalling. Oh my God. And there have been some heat directed at the series by people on social media, like my good self. This directly inspired the big finale scene, involving the robot and She-Hulk. The idea was to respond to the social media trolls. But you're trolling them before you've even produced the show. You've done all these shows, all the series complete, before you showed the first one. So how do you know that there are social media trolls before you've actually released the season? You weren't making them as you go. They're already complete. So you know that there's going to be backlash from people because it's so bad, but you still do it anyway. What sort of mangled world we live in? The idea was to respond, not to respond, because you respond to something that happens afterwards. The idea was to pre-respond, to say something before it happened. Just bizarre. In a fun way. No, it wasn't. As writer, that's a generous term. As person who scribbles stuff down, Jessica Gao explained, can she? Recently in a recent interview, that's very recent, with Variety, the conversation between Jen and Kevin is very much the relationship that I have with real life Kevin, and a lot of that is taken from conversations I've had with him. Brilliant. That scene was so much longer in the scripts. If they'd let me, I think that's half the problem with this. It's all been cut down, pared down, switched about, cut and pasted, cut, copy, paste, divide. It's just been chopped to pieces that it becomes incomprehensible, and the only stuff that's left came across as just entitled whining. But there you go. The scene was much longer in the script. If they'd let me, I probably would have written a 10-minute conversation. Jesus Christ, could you imagine? 10 minutes of that, of my avatar arguing with Kevin, because we would love that. Make it 2 hours. This is probably the tightest version of what it could have been. There were a couple of jabs where Kevin was like, okay, this is a little mean now. Our writer's room, our scribbler's room, opened 3 years ago. Really? You've been writing this for 3 years? This beggars belief, this thing. The fact that we were able to predict what the reaction was going to be, what a lot of trolling comments were going to be, really shows how very tired and unoriginal these trolls were. Or that you've made something so bad that even you can see that people are going to say stuff about it. Maybe? 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 That really tickled me. Did it? That made you laugh, did it? Because the little troll that lives inside of me really loves trolling the trolls. Trolling the trolls, troll the trolls. Maybe you made something so bad, you knew it was going to be really bad. And you knew that people were going to say, hey, this is really bad. This is really, really bad. So bad that it's not getting an episode 2. And it's the flagship of the Disney series, and it's not getting a second season. So maybe it's not just us. Maybe it's not just the trolls on the internet. Maybe it's everybody. Maybe everybody thinks it's terrible. Maybe? Possibly? Who knows? All I know is I'm wearing a propeller hat. That's all I know. You can stream the entire series of She-Hulk: Attorney at Law on Disney+. I would strongly advise you do not. Well, I think that's all we got today, and if you'd like to leave and subscribe and like and press all the buttons, that'd be fantastic. And if you are a fan of She-Hulk: Attorney at Law, then please don't. And I think that's about everything, and I will see you guys later.